What if I told you that the perfect man did exist, but he was cursed? I mean, he's just a complete handicapper. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. Might be the best I've ever seen. He could be the best looking guy in all of horse racing. I mean, he gives Matt Bernier a run for his money. I mean, we all saw it. He was minding his own business, walking back from the bathroom. Hottest girl in the bar just grabs him and says, "Reel me in." Turns out you can't always be that lucky, man.
Zulu Alpha charges up the rail under Tyler Gaffleon and takes the lead late. Zulu Alpha wins the Pegasus World Cup Turf.
Good, well, in the real time zones, good morning. Fake time zone, I guess, good afternoon. It's officially 12:03 Eastern. But here in Central Time, we're still nice. I'm still enjoying my coffee. It's nice and early. Early for me, at least. Although I did wake up super early today. I woke up at like 8:30 because I passed out last night at about probably like 11:30 p.m. I went out with a buddy of mine who I haven't seen in a bit. We went to the Brazilian steakhouse. I ate entirely too much, had a couple caipirinhas, and slept pretty well. Caleb, I felt like I had to play that video. One, because I didn't get to play it on Thursday. Two, because I think we both got boomed in the marathon race yesterday. And three, there's a little story part that's in there that apparently you kind of had a reprisal of last weekend. So I mean, I felt like it was a triple threat there for playing that video.
Yeah, I think the video was extremely timely. Not to mention, like you said, it showed its head again on all facets of the storyline. So. Thankfully, it wasn't Channel Maker that boomed me, though. So the silver lining was that it was not Channel Maker and it was not Arklow. They were kind of exposed to be the horses I knew they were. Just didn't have Highland Chief anywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I believe you said earlier in chat that you've basically had Highland Chief every time except for this time. So
I did, and that's what sometimes I get in my own way. It's like I needed that horse every start since he pulled the upset against Gufo and Yabir a couple starts back. And he just has not shown up. And I'm like, all right, that was a fluke. I'm done. This horse would cost me too much money. Went on every other metric of, figures and pace flow, dynamics and race flow. He sort of made sense and he got the job done. And of course, the first time I jump off of him is when that happens. So my struggles in the turf marathon division continue.
Yep. Oh, look at Charles right here saying he cashed a big exact with Highland Chief on top. Win place money. Big day yesterday. I think Charles did like Highland Chief on stream. I think it was in chat. Unfortunately, we were having all those problems, so we weren't able to really highlight chat very well on Thursday. We had to go old school. And I was talking to our friend Evil Bob Dole before this, and I was like, man, I can't believe how much I miss the creature comforts that come with this software. But it's definitely made streaming, especially in the format that we do, just much, much easier. Speaking of just I mean, I don't know, Mark, what has happened to you? I want to. You have done some crazy things the past week that had just completely uncharacteristic of you. First of all, you and I are landing on way too many similar horses, and these horses are losing at an alarming rate. So I don't know what's going on there. But two, I want to highlight this because Mark sent me this. Mark's got a pick 5 ticket that is literally $8. Now, granted, I mean, the sequence probably you should be able to hit on $8 ticket, looking at the early at Aqueduct here. But Mark, this is the second or third day in a row that I've seen you with a ticket under $20. So I'm just wondering, are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling fine. It's just, one of those. Oh, first thing, I think if you hit the all button in every leg of this Aqueduct Pick 5, it would cost you like $25 to play it. So, I mean, really, I'm still playing like 25% of the horses with that structure. But I don't know, just, thin as in, in the words of Bobby. So, I figured, take a little skinny shot at this early that I don't see any way in hell that it pays anything.
Yeah, it was funny because, like I said, I was chatting with Evil Bob Dole before this, Stephen Fox, and we we were playing some Overwatch, and then like maybe like an hour and a half ago, we were like, oh, like let's start capping through it, and literally it took me like a half hour to mark up my PPs with all the scratches at Aqueduct. It was just like he's like I don't even do that anymore because of just the amount of work it takes. But why don't we kind of jump into this? I see you got your ticket here, Mark. We can. I didn't cap Aqueduct, so I will probably not have much to add here to start off. But let's take a look at this quick ticket here for you.
Yeah.
Race 1. We're actually we're off the turf, aren't we?
Yeah, we are off the turf.
For some reason, Naira
For
Bet
half the
says
races, yeah.
Yeah, Naira. It was
Yeah.
1, 4, and 7 were off for. I think
1, 4, and 7 are off, so 1 and 4 will be the affected ones in the sequence.
that's amazing. I wish that that Naira Bets could update because it says turf good. So, but you scratched the 1, the 2,
But the turf is good for races 6 and 9. That's why the turf is showing as good on Naira Bets.
Well, I wish it would tell me that it was off.
Wait a second.
But,
It's only saying 6 and 9. Did they take the 10th off now? Or is it just not? Oh, okay, cool. And it's yielding for the 10th. So it's 6th and 9th. It's good, but it'll be yielding by the 10th.
Oh, because the different turf courses, yeah.
Different turf courses, yeah.
But scratch the 1, the 2, the 5, the 7, the 8, and the 9 in this race. So how many horses do you even have? You have a 5-horse field here. We are off the turf. Mark, you landed on.
I landed on the 3 and the 4. I landed on the 3 and the 4. Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like the betting money is going towards the 10 with Lascano up for Abreu. To me that sort of looks like a turf horse. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess both Oros can kind of run on anything. I went to the 3 Desert Temple. Would be my top choice for Brendan Walsh. Horse ran a really nice race at Kentucky Downs. Not the turfiest pedigree ever. It looks like a horse that should handle the dirt pretty well. And then the other horses, the 4 Cookie Crumbs for Pletcher. Pletcher tends to go to Kendrick a lot, when he's playing Winter Duck. The two of them are 30% together. So I thought the 3 and the 4 were the two that didn't scream that they were turf horses. Both of them ran fairly decent debuts and seemed like the horses that I thought would, handle the dirt the best. So, yeah, that's where I landed, and I know Caleb posted a ticket in our group chat. Looks like he's buying this race, so yeah, so it shows you probably what I know.
I know I kind of agree with you, actually. My top picks in here would have been the 1A, the 3, and the 6. But I'm like, we're all kind of guessing at this race, right? I'm just sort of looking. I'm like, well, do I want to use 3 of, like, I put together my ticket and it was $9. And I'm like, well, I can all the first race and for $6 more. So I'm like, all right, like, what the hell? I'll take the last 2. I don't really care for the 10 that much. That was not a horse I initially had. Coming out of the Gargan barn, not exactly a positive for me, but the horse could win. I mean, for sure. But yeah, I used the 1, 3, and 6. Always like these horses exiting Kentucky Downs, especially when they're competitive in that race. I know you like the 3 also. I threw in the 1. When I say 1, I mean the 1A, I suppose. Tonic. This is a horse that I think is pretty well meant. I just don't know if he's well meant or she's well meant for this spot. But, coming off of a real quick work in the morning, Justify Baby is winning at a very high clip. And Dutro has historically been kind of poor with first-time starters, but has really been better lately. So the fact he gets, Javi up, I think this horse looks pretty good. So threw in the 1A and then, kind of just tossed in the 6, just hoping that a horse stretching out from the sprints to routes might be able to show a little more speed and get out there on the lead with Jose Gomez in the weight break. And without any proven form and much less any proven speed, I kind of want the horse that's going to be on the lead, and I'm kind of hoping it's the 6. But yeah, not any strong opinions here. I ended up throwing in the 10 and whatever other horse the 4 just to have it, because it wasn't that much more. But those are not horses that I would have had if I was playing something a little skinnier.
So I wanted to highlight Jay's comment here because I see Caleb is using the all button, but Mark, you're not using the 6. Apparently, Jay really likes the 6 here in the first race. What
if you really like the 6, you're getting 8-1. I'm not going to talk anybody off that. 8-1 in a 6-horse field, have at it. But my thing was the horse really didn't do a ton of running in either of those Saratoga starts at sprints. The Donk Barn has absolutely been ice cold. The entire Belmont meet, he's 0 for 19 so far, and he's only had 5 of those even hit the money. I don't know why a stretch out necessarily benefits this horse, or a switch going to dirt moves this horse up. I guess it's a different surface and a different distance, so sure, you're taking a shot, but I don't know. I don't know. There is a price where this horse makes sense. It's about 3 times what the board is saying it is. I think you're just getting that price because of a short field, not because people actually really like the horse. So I didn't see anything to really like here. It looks pretty sprinty on the bottom end on the dam side. I mean, I realize Blame can go far, but it just kind of screamed like a turf horse that I was a little bit interested in that horse in a turf route coming out of those sprints where it might be able to get out, get loose on the front end, and and if these maiden races sometimes horses will get brave and nobody wants to pass. I was a little more interested on the turf, but on the dirt, I just really don't see it.
All right, next race. You guys both like the 7 here in race 2. Mark, you also have the 4 in here, but the 7 is 4-5 here for Firewolves for Brad Cox and Manny Franco. Mark, I mean, technically, I guess you're using a defensive A.
It's a defensive A.
It's a defensive A. But,
we need a new siren for that.
Yeah, it should probably be even louder.
I realize Cox is really high percentage on this drop going maiden special weight to maiden claim, but this horse has kind of run the same race the last 3. You're getting to a trainer 37% on the move, but I don't, is this horse just really, really, really terrible? Burnt money so far. Should get out to the front, or get fairly loose on the front end, or at least be your controlling speed on paper, but the horse has never actually cleared and never actually made the front end. So I don't know if this is just one of these, I don't want to say it's a fake Cox, but it's a horse that is just absolutely burnt money. Yeah, the percentages are really high. I get it. I felt like I needed another horse in there just because if this horse, does what he does and just continues, or does what she does and continues to burn money, I wanted somebody else. So I landed on the 4 Dancing Sophia. It's a horse that's only run once on dirt. That was a race that was rained off at Tampa and ran pretty damn well. That was the best best race of her career so far. Back into the Reinerson barn, out of the Motion barn. Figured, and it's a turfy pedigree, but not the turfiest. So I was wondering if maybe getting back to dirt, she actually might handle it. And I just wanted a fresh face that I didn't kind of know what they were at this point.
Yeah, this race is horrible, and I think you need to have an opinion on the 7. To me, that's a horse you single or toss. The horse is going to be heavy odds on in a short field. If you use 2 horses and your ticket comes to $8 or $9, it is what it is, I guess. But I struggle with using more than one horse here if that one horse is the 7. So Cox gets all the bells and whistles on the drop, on the stretch out. All the positive moves here. You get one of the better jocks in the colony with Manny Franco, and I just think this horse is is going to take a beating at the windows, but is probably a deserving favorite in this field. So I'm not trying to beat because the other horses in this field are terrible. Sure, one of them could jump up. The 6 might decide that today's the day that he makes the lead and just keeps going, or the 4 may decide that he's a dirt horse after all. But for me, I can't justify including them on a ticket when I'm also using the 7. So I'm just going to use the 7, and if he loses, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, these are. These definitely. I guess these horses have 4 legs. This is a tough race. This is just, I don't know. Is this like, are we in January? Is this January Aqueduct?
Oh no, January racing is better than this. This is worse than Midwinter Duck. This is horrible. This entire first early sequence is just horrible.
I guess I will say the one would be the other horse I might throw in if I was going to use a second horse, just because she's the least exposed out of anybody in this field with only 2 starts. And she did improve a lot in that second start at Saratoga. But,
okay. It's hard when you're beaten 37 lengths in your first out not to improve. I mean, like, I think me running in a horse suit could probably, beaten by less. And I mean,
you're backing a horse that was beat 11 lengths and 16 lengths in his last 2 starts at a third of the price. So,
she's got 2 starts and has been beaten a combined 48 lengths. I mean,
but she ran third in that start. She totally blew the break. Stretching out, I don't know if that helps necessarily. I don't think it does actually, but grasping at straws here. If I was going to use a second horse, it would be the one, just because she showed signs of life last time. Actually ran third and passed 8 other horses, which is more than most of these can say.
I'm going to say that I would still bet against Mark in the horse suit. So,
ouch.
I actually kind of like this too, but like, I don't know, like you would have assumed that this too, after March of last year, winning and getting DQ down the second, might have figured it out. And I don't know, like it just seems like this horse is just up and down, up and down. I mean, you go back and you look at some of those races when he was, and she was 3. I mean, I think that those races win here, but I mean, you're like hoping that the horse somehow like remembers to be a racehorse. I don't know, but it really just depends on price, right? Like, 6-1. If I was trying to get around this 4 to 5, I think I'd probably use the 2, and I might use the 6. I know that last race is just like absolutely horrible, and this horse has just like never been close. But is not really dropping, because it's going from state bred to open company here. But Linda seems to be able to move horses forward off the claim. Is claiming off of Rob Atras, so I don't know how much more forward they can move it. But I don't know. A horse that like you kind of said, Caleb, a horse that gets on the front end is always dangerous in these real bad races, because eventually, like, the horse might just not stop, or just nobody else is going to decide to try and pass horses. So I would maybe take a shot against the 7 with the 2 and the 6, but I don't know. It's a really, really bad race. Jay likes the 2, the 3, and the 6 over the 7 here. So I think he said quicker. So maybe he's just talking about early pace, which makes sense, because I don't think the 7's going to be near the lead or anything like that. But
in time form is showing the 7 on the lead. I just don't see it, because it's just never happened unless Manny's told to just go full send, which honestly, in this race, if Manny was told to go full send, I would probably single that horse.
All right, so going from a bad race to state bred race, which is some of Caleb's favorite races, these New York state breds. It's really okay. The races themselves aren't the problem; it's the days that are the problems, right, Caleb? Those are your favorite.
I don't mind state bred races here and there. I don't like Empire Showcase Day, where it's a full card of New York breds and they disguise starter allowance races as stakes races.
And then here, you guys, let me take a look. You guys both like the 2 and the 3. Caleb, you're including the 1 here as well. But Mark, why don't you talk to me about the 2 and the 3 here?
Yeah, just they seem to be the 2 most likely horses. State bred allowance race. Saffy Barnes been pretty good, and he seems to improve G Munnings a fair bit off the claim. I realize Dangerous Edge doesn't like to win very often, but this is a pretty terrible field. And speed figures come back. Those are your 2 fastest horses. I didn't want to get creative and dig to anybody else. I don't necessarily know if I really believe G Munnings, the fig that came back on that last race. If you do, I think you have to kind of single that horse, but they seem to be the 2 fastest horses, and they're both fastest by quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. And on paper, there is a fair bit of pace in this race, so it looks like it should come apart with, the 2, the 4, and the 6 all arguably needing to be very forwardly placed. But we'll see if that actually plays out, because Nairo.
Is that why you use the 1 here, Caleb, because of the pace scenario?
I don't think the pace actually gets that hot. I just thought the 1 might be a horse that gets overlooked a little bit in here. The 2, I think, is the horse to beat. I think the horse probably secures the lead pretty easily. And I'm not really sure that the 4 is going to be quick enough to go cutting back from a mile. And the 6, I really don't think the 6 is fast enough, even if they want the lead there. And I also don't believe Cancel is going to get that horse out of the gate. So I do think the 2 probably gets an easy lead, but I respect the 3 enough to throw the horse in, just because I always like horses cutting back when they go from a mile to 7 furlongs here. So that's kind of the logic I put on the 1 and the 3. I'm not totally convinced that this 2 horse is great at 7. Has got the only win of his career was at 6, and he has been he's run fine at 7 furlongs, but getting second and third, but was always 5, 6, 8 lengths behind the horse that ultimately won those days. So in the event that he gets a little bit short, I wanted horses that were cutting back and proving at distances that were a little bit farther. So I threw the 1 and the 3 in, since they both seem to have a little more stamina and are a little more likely to see out the distance if the 2 gets short. So that's kind of the only logic there.
Any concern with this 2, just like the fact that the horse has been just completely out of form?
The 2 has been out of form?
Yeah.
I think the 2's actually been really rounding into form. I think they're moving to the moving to the Saffy barn substantially has moved this horse up.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean the horse. I guess what's the condition in this allowance? Which is never won 18. Okay, never won 2 races. It's an N2. Okay, never mind. These are all she horses, so it doesn't.
I think it's what's 2 this year, right? I would imagine. I didn't read the full conditions.
It's just an N1X. It's standard N1X.
Yeah, never won 2 races, or I don't know. There's just a bunch.
Well, then how's the 3 eligible if it's for a straight N1?
It's a bunch of
N1X
stuff. Never won 18.
Other than
maiden claiming her starter.
Okay, got it.
Won 18.
Yeah, it's an N1X, not an N2L.
Yeah. But anyways, never mind, because these horses all suck, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I really have nothing to add here. This is another just absolutely terrible race. I remember, Mark, you did have to look up the trainer on the 5.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You're going to make me talk about it now, aren't you?
I am going to make you talk about it. Yeah, it's your boy.
Alexis Solares, who is the beard for Tom Morley right now, as Tom Morley is suspended.
I say that again.
Tom Morley is suspended. You done
How does
now?
that make you feel on the inside? Sheldon here is just chiming in. He really likes the 1 a lot.
Oh
or the
God,
computer
is the
likes the 1
computer
a lot.
agreeing with Caleb?
Yeah. Well, I just thought, like, with your pace description, Mark, if you really, I mean, the 1 at least on Brisnet looks to be like the off the pace horse. So if you really think this is going to come apart, I mean, you probably need to use this 1.
Do I really have to?
But Saratoga Stable got mad at me when I said something about
I guess
Tis
I'm
the Law or
I'm-
whatever, right? Tis the Law retiring. They actually replied to me. They're like, "No, of course we're not retiring this horse." And then the horse.
Yeah, I'm just really confused why Javi gets off the 1 here. I realized Dylan was on last time. I don't know why Dylan ended up on that horse last time out, but Javi's on track today. The horse's 1 win came with Javi up. Seems very odd that they decide to go to Dylan. I don't know.
Well,
You guys
with
Javi up for the record.
Yeah,
this is valid. But
you
again,
guys,
there's a lot of horses in this race that we can make the same conversation about.
You guys said this 2 is rounding in the form, finishing second by 5 lengths. So, hey, he finished. Dylan finished second by 6 3/4. That's pretty close.
Okay, I'm adding your stupid 1.
Hey,
if you take that Dr. Blute race, I mean, that's a common horse they've run against. I mean, he beat the 1 by 6 3/4. He beat the 3 by, we'll call it 7. I think they're very similar, so that's why I use them both.
If only Mark would have listened to, or not listened. Well, actually, no, he did listen to you, and that's what cost him the money. Sorry. I had it flip for a second with that Mountaineer shipper. Race 4, off the turf affair here. We scratched the 1, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 10. That leaves us with a big old field of 4 here. Mark, you landed on the 3 and the 8. Caleb, you got landed on the 3 and the 8. So Western Lane and excuse me, pretty persuasive here. Anything really to talk about in this
I mean,
race?
really quickly, I'm looking for the horses that may still have some semblance of upside. I think I know who the 2 and the 9 are. That leaves the 3 and the 8. Maybe one of them doesn't suck. That's about as far as I got.
Yeah, that's pretty much my take as well. I actually like this 9 a lot. I have this horse in my virtual stable, but I bet him. But it was from that maiden claiming race at Saratoga where he didn't get a great trip, and that's twice now he's ended up on the dirt. So I actually did bet him last time just because I figured I would take a shot, and he just did not handle the surface at all. So yeah, I will bet beachfront bid back if he gets into a turf race, but unfortunately, I don't know that I think he's going to handle the surface today when he ran so poorly last time out. So yeah, I use the 2 horses that haven't proven to me that they suck, which is the 3 and the 8.
What's the dirt situation today? Are we going to be fast?
Fast.
Okay.
Yeah. It was fast by the end of the day yesterday. They didn't get any rain overnight. Caleb, I also have beachfront bid in my watch list, but I will not bet that horse until they get them back on the proper surface. Yes. Today should dirty up the form even more, so the next time out I get a better price.
That's right.
You do get JJ aboard on the 9 now. Does that change your mind?
No, it really doesn't. No.
Yeah, I was just asking because obviously Speightstown does really well in the mud, so I didn't know what we were looking like. And I know he ran on the dirt last time, but it was also a fast track.
They're on it now. It's clearly fast.
Yeah, I would think if it was actually muddy and off, I think the 9 would have been someone to look at. But yeah, I nothing to add here. Like I said, I really didn't take a real close look at the card, but close out this pick 5 tickets you guys got here. You guys have different singles. Mark, you got the 4. Caleb, you got the 9. And we're only scratching the 1 in this race. This was scheduled on the dirt. So you guys are both singling different horses. Caleb, talk to me about this 9 horse.
Yeah, so when I looked at this race, I thought there was a lot of speed in the race. It looks like the 1A, Shardile, has to go. The 2, Street Culture, has to go. The number 4, Holy Matrimony, I mean, who knows what he's going to do off of the election cycle layoff, but he has speed. There's other horses, the 5, the 7, who all sort of need to be forwardly placed. So I kind of just wanted the closer in here. Normally 1 for 16 types aren't really my jam, but this looks like really the only closer I could find that wasn't, somebody like, the 8 who's piloted by Heeman Harkey and, absolutely just crushed in his last 2 starts. I mean, this horse has at least been competitive, should be, running late. And Jose Camejo had a quietly very good Saratoga meet with relatively small barn and limited number of runners. He's continued that success into Aqueduct over here. He's got 2 wins from 11 starts, and a lot of his runners are hitting the board. So he does really well first off the claim. I think it's encouraging that he goes to one of the better local jocks here, Manny Franco. To me, that was kind of a big tell that, Manny Franco or Kendrick typically get the first call for Atris. The fact that Atris goes to Gomez, and then when Gomez is off his mounts today, Eric Cancel gets up instead of one of the more established riders. To me, that was kind of a tell that this horse, dropping out of the sky off of a huge layoff, first time gelding, just way too many question marks for me to kind of go to that horse. So I kind of landed on the 9 here, mostly just from a pace perspective and the fact that you're getting a pretty solid barn with a good jock and might get the job done.
I did not realize that Eric Cancel had the pickup mount, and I feel horribly dirty right now. Your 9 is now clearly the horse. Yeah, I know. Rob Altris is 29% first off the claim with a $2.77 ROI. He's absolutely deadly off the claim. He's claiming from Linda here. I don't know if I necessarily love somebody claiming out of the Linda barn. Not as bad as certain other barns, but
which horse are you looking
at? 9 got the gold, right?
Sorry.
That's out of the that's
Camejo, not Atris, but okay.
Yeah, no, I was talking about your horse.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the 4. My bad.
No. I was talking about the one that you're off though. And my other issue with your 9 was that the horse is over 7 across the surface. So I just don't know if yeah, I mean, obviously 1 for 16 lifetime, 0 for 9 across the surface. Kameo does seem to move horses up though, so probably a smart pick. I ended up on the 4 off the really long layoff. My thought there was with Jose Gomez up, they were just going to send, and they were going to send hard with the weight break, and it's still showing 116 pounds. I would imagine they don't get the 116 anymore. They're still getting a little more weight, but Rob Altris also has very good, fairly okay long layoff stats, and first in his barn, pretty high win percentage. This horse has all the bells and whistles, being gelded after that last start. Obviously, but yeah, the full election cycle, this race sucks. I felt like I needed a single here and be cute, so I landed on the 4 on my now massive $12 ticket.
Yep, we got 2 minutes to post here, so I'm gonna show Mark's ticket again here. Mark, you're on the 3, 4, 4, 7, 2, 3, 3, 8, and 4 $8 ticket. Caleb with the rare ticket thicker than Mark's is all 7, 1, 2, 3, 3, 8, 9. I got 2 minutes to post.
And by the way, if you were a smart person knowing how this works, you would combine Caleb's ticket and my ticket, because it will 100% hit. That's just how this works. We never listen to one another. Always costs us money. Yeah.
I went all, so you take the favorite here. And then Mark used 2 horses in the next race where I singled the favorite. So you take the horse that Mark used as his second horse. So that's how you play this sequence.
I am optics capping this pick 5 to get something in real quick. So hold on.
I love how we talk about how this Aqueduct card is terrible, and then spend 30 minutes talking about it. So we just have less time to talk about the Keeneland card that I think everybody loved. Just throwing that out there.
No, we got through it in a half hour. It's fine. Oh man,
Sheldon is like 3.5 year layoff.
Yeah.
That's true. And correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Naira have a provision that lets you waive claiming tag first time after a big layoff or something like that?
Yes, it does. I think it's over, and it's not even that big. I want to say it's like 90 days or something. You can waive the claiming tag. In fact,
this horse does come back in for a tag. That's a little bit sketch.
Now, technically, they do have to have off the long layoff. They do have to have a work across the surface, which the track vet watches. So,
my ticket is not looking great. Oh man. Oh, I was like, why is this so expensive? Because I used the all button first race. I gotta fix that.
It's gonna cost you like $6, Josh.
No. I need a lot more money than $6.
If I end up with the cheapest of the 3 tickets here,
well, I need to make a decision here in race 4. I'm using the 3 and the 10 in leg 1, 2 and the 7 in leg 2, 1, 2, 3 leg 3, leg 4. I hit all, but I need to cheap out here. Oh, I might single this 3
in leg 4.
Yeah, but if I use the 3, I got to use the 8, right? All right. We got a $24 ticket. Let's just put it in.
What'd you do in the last race?
2-4.
Ooh, I only need 8 more people to fill my BC feeder now.
Caleb, without looking, right? I'm just gonna tell you who are the 2 jocks I hate the most at Naira.
Lescano and
gotta be Cancel.
Cancel.
Yep, correct. And who do I got in this fucking payoff leg? Lescano and Cancel. So I cannot wait. For this to happen. But let me get my ticket up.
Lescano's going to rate the 2, and Cancel's going to miss the break.
Oh my god. Let's see if I type it in real quick. I'm 310, 27, 1, 2, 3, 3, 8, 2, 4. $24. So yes, I have the most expensive ticket. That looks like a normal pick 5 ticket.
You said you have it listed as pick 4.
That would be a legitimate, nice, good ticket if there was like 3 times the field sizes.
Yeah.
So you're breaking out your inner Kevin Cox and playing a pick 4, which actually doesn't start till the next leg.
What do you mean a pick 4?
You put Josh's ticket as listed as a pick 4, 1-2 over 2 over 3, 4 over 1-3.
Where do you see that?
It looks right on the screen.
That's what's showing up on screen right now for me.
It looks right to me.
Oh,
well,
that's I'll show you this. Hold on. Sorry, that's a bad one on my end, I guess.
It looks weird on your end?
Yep, I just posted it up in our chat.
That's funny.
That is real weird.
Yeah, because you were saying before that the chat was looking weird for you, right?
Chat. Well, chat. I don't see anything in chat, so I have to flop back and forth. Something weird going on.
That's funny.
So it looks like Streamlabs Restream isn't 100% working yet.
Yep. All right, so they're loading in here to the gate, and then let's pop open Keeneland here. Race 1, we're going to be scratching the 3. Who I was probably my top pick in this race, so I'm really frustrated with the scratch of the 3. But I think that's the only scratch in this race. Your morning line favorite is going to be, I think, is the 7, right? No, not the 7. The
5.
The 5.
The Dio horse
at 9 to 5. Who I ended up using because the scratch of the 3. But 3 got. Is that the 3 that went to the lead there at Aqueduct?
Yep.
Okay.
3 on the lead.
Yeah, Optics like this 3 early, I think. I know like there wasn't a ton to go on in this race, so you know. They're going kind of fast.
Yeah, they're all bunched up, and then there's the 1.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't really care who wins. I would prefer it not to be the 10. I don't know. If the 10 wins, though, at least I'll be vindicated in using all because he wasn't on my initial ticket.
Right?
That's some mental adjustment. That's
yeah,
some
worst
mental
possible
adjustment.
result, but you wouldn't have had it any other way. So
I had the 1-3-6 initially, and it looks like the 1 just quit, and the 3 looks like he's out of gas.
Yeah, and this 4 is just grinding this 3 down.
Oh,
so now I need this 10.
10 is going to roll right on by.
Yeah, it sure looks like it.
Yeah. I'm probably a little bit ahead of you guys. Sorry.
No, yeah, I got the mental gymnastics I did to justify that all button.
Man, I'll tell you, man, that 10, barely, that 10 should have won by. Oh my God, the 4's coming back. Okay, never mind. Okay, 10 won by a length.
But I mean, this is how I told you it would go, right? The chalk wins the first leg where I go all, knocks Mark out. And then Mark's 4 horse or whatever he said he had in the second leg where I singled the 7 ends up winning that race. And then we're both dead. And if you just combine those 2, you win.
That's funny. All right. So, so at now I can actually talk about a race that I've actually spent some time capping, more than 10 seconds. I spent 20 seconds capping this race. I did end up using the 5 here, backside of the moon. I really, really liked this 3. I thought the 3 was kind of going to be the way I get around this 5, but I don't know. With the scratch of the 3, I had a hard time getting around the 5. I did look at the 7 a little bit as kind of like you're probably going to be your pace setter here. But I don't know. I like this 5 coming off a win, coming here, basically the same condition. So I really like the 5. I did use another horse in here. I used the 2 Pit Boss for Norman Cash and Rafael Bejarano. This is kind of your every other horse, right? The horse comes in, runs one, and Norm Cash obviously runs every 2 weeks. So he's basically using a race as a workout and another race as his actual race here. So we're gonna see the better race here, I think. So he's gonna be coming off the pace. So I know yesterday we did see kind of. I don't know if it was necessarily a closer bias, but I did see a lot of horses winning from off the pace yesterday. So I kind of wanted to use a horse coming from off the pace here. So I'm going to use this 2 Pit Boss here as well as the favorite, the 5. Caleb, you're smiling, so you must hate this too.
Well, I just think it's funny that you call him an every other when he has 24 others, and I can't find his every. But I do agree with you that closers seemed to be decent yesterday, and if you think, I just don't think the pace gets hot enough, and I don't think he's good enough. But you're getting 10-1. I guess that's fine. So I know he's a big square on optics, so I guess there's that. But yeah, I have nothing original here. I like the 7 probably a little bit better than the 5, but I'm going to use both. And those are the only 2 horses that I really have any interest in. I think 7 becomes your controlling speed with the 3 scratched out. I think he's faster than the 5. The 5's not a horse that's historically gone to the lead, even though he won last time out by sitting pretty close. The 7 is dropping in class quite a bit. And, toss a line through the Kentucky Downs race, clearly, just didn't handle the course. And it's probably just a better dirt horse anyway, where he's had a little more success. And yeah, the one time he did drop in for a tag for $50,000 claiming a few races back, he got the job done. He's tactical, doesn't need the lead, but probably does get it in here. So yeah, I think 2nd of July is probably my top pick in here, but I do respect Backside of the Moon, who's the 10-year-old gelding is still getting the job done and still in good form right now. So those are 2 horses that I think are your likeliest 2 winners, and I kind of struggle to make a case for anybody else.
Yeah, nothing to add here. Caleb basically articulated exactly how I have it. So 7 over 5. And yeah, all the reasons Caleb mentioned.
All right, race 2. We have this green stuff that apparently they run on occasionally. Turf race, maiden 100,000. And we got a scratch to the 3 here. And the 13 draws in and scratch the other also eligibles. Mark, what did you land here?
Yeah, for me, sort of ended up on some outside horses. I know I've complained about this before, and then I, about picking outside horses at Keeneland in these maiden races, and then I go back and I find 3 of them. So I end up on 10, 11, 12 here. 11's probably my top pick, which I would imagine would be your favorite, the Chad Brown horse, Evaluate. Coming off that Kentucky Downs start, which was fine. Getting a jock upgrade here, probably getting back to a little bit more of a conventional surface. So imagine that one's probably pretty well meant. And, I thought the 10 and the 12 also had some stuff that seemed interesting. Nothing super creative. I don't love anyone here or, not super excited to bet anybody here. So, but I kind of ended up on probably 3 of the shorter prices. Shocking, I know.
Caleb?
Yeah, I'll be very spread this race. I think this race has some good price potential. I do respect the Chad Brown horse, the 11. I think this horse obviously makes sense, even if there is like negative turf pedigree on the bottom side of that on that horse. And I respect the 12 as well, who ran a nice race at Kentucky Downs and is likely going to be your controlling speed in this race as well, potentially with the 8 up there. One of those 2 ought to be on the lead anyway. But there's just other price horses I thought were interesting in here. And I don't want to talk about all of them. So the one that I probably am going to use most prominently is going to be this 7 Joint Venture. And this is really kind of just a pedigree play here. This is a horse that did less than 0 running in his career debut at Churchill Downs. And I just don't care. I think this is a turf horse. So for him to not handle the dirt doesn't really bother me. He took 0 money that day for a barn that really doesn't do very well first time out. So not totally surprising. He was kind of, green during the beginning parts of that races, and you're probably just going, distance that doesn't suit quite either. So getting on the grass here, I really like. This horse is half sibling to 4 pretty nice turf runners, a couple of listed stakes and, good allowance level kind of winners. One Mean Man, Ms. Money, all, have earned a couple $100,000 almost exclusively racing on the turf. So I think there's, reasons that this horse may step forward getting on the grass. Bernard Flint does pretty well, with the surface switch, from a limited starters, 19% with first on the grass. So I'm kind of just taking a shot here that this horse improves because I'm not totally ready to just hand the race over to the far outside horses who do appear to be the horses to beat, but are going to have to overcome a challenging post, as well as the fact that they weren't exactly standouts in their races to date. So the 7's the price I'm going to take a shot on the most, but I'm going to have a few others in here that are all going to be pretty good prices.
Yeah, I landed on the I'm going to use 3 horses. The My top pick in here is probably going to be this 2 for Gucci Boy for Robertino Diodoro. Just kind of looking back at time form, looking at these horses that have races. The 2 looks to be the one that's ran the fastest race. Ran a sprint at Saratoga, ran against better technically than what he's running against here, at least on the class profile that time form uses. So on the stretch out here, I'm interested in using the 2. I think maybe it might do a little bit better with a little bit extra distance. Does have some distance pedigree on top, not much on the bottom, but we'll see how this does second time out. And Heartspun also does better with a little bit of conditioning on the turf. So I'm going to take a shot with this 2 as my top pick. I'm going to be using this 5 Royal Salute based off of the HRN Firster report. This was the highest graded Firster in the field. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot with this 5 Royal Salute. Oscar Performance has been doing very, very well on the turf. I don't think... there's a lot of distance pedigree in this horse. This is a very nicely bred horse. I'm just going to go ahead and take a shot with this horse based off of pedigree. The HRM report likes it for a number of reasons. And then I'm also going to use this 13 horse all the way in the parking lot. Mark's using all the outside horses, so I'm using the one outside horse he's not using. Which is a 13 Solomon Vandy. Just a horse that's kind of come in with a couple of turf routes already under his belt, and it has just been routing since he started. So I think that is giving him a little bit of an advantage because it already has some conditioning on him. Has run this distance. Had a second at Ellis Park, which I know this is much deeper waters at Ellis. Just kind of taking a shot on a horse with a little bit of condition in the turf route. So 2, 5, 13 are the horses I'm going to be using here. Caleb, what other prices were you kind of looking at here?
Yeah, so you kind of covered 2 of them anyway. I thought that the 5 was an interesting horse, the Oscar Performance horse at a nice price. Wasn't sure what to do with the 13. I think he's been subtly improving, but that's a terrible post. But he was one I was a little interested in. The other one that we didn't talk about would be the 4. And I know the HRN report doesn't like this horse. I understand why. Michelle Nihai is not very good with first-time starters. However, if you limit that sample size to first-time turfers or debut horses making their first start on the turf, she has 1 win. But the 1 win came at a giant price, and Gabe Saez was up. So I'm kind of willing to take a look at this horse that sold for $300,000, which was the highest Good Samaritan offspring to sell at the OBS March sale this year. Been working steadily. I love all the turf works. Came back and fired a respectable work at Keeneland over the dirt course on October 7th in here. And, there's something about this horse I just kind of think could be a little bit sneaky. Historically, like I said, not great stats first time out, but their turf pedigree's solid enough. I like the string of works coming in, and the horse is probably going to be 30-1. So that's another horse I'm going to throw in somewhere.
So, Josh, I'm a little disappointed in you. You're not using this 8.
The 8?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm getting my screens over here. 8. The E8, Curly, Larry, and Mo. I did look at this horse very, 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 very closely. But, I don't know. I didn't get there.
Because that's a Josh horse if I've ever seen a Josh horse.
Well, see, I saw the 8, but then I also saw the 12. And I thought the 12 was probably going to go.
Wow.
And I was just a little.
So you're a discerning lover of cheap speed. Got it.
This is the cheapest of speed, but I decided to go against. Did you use Mark or?
No. I just I just know a Josh horse when I see him.
Anything? Was there anything else you want to talk about in this race, Mark, or are you ready to move on?
No.
Right, cool.
I'm taking the opposite of you guys. I'm kind of going to be skinny here. I'm still using 3 horses, so
yeah. Race 3, we're going to be going 7 furlongs. We have a field of 7 here, no scratches. Your morning line favorite is the 5 Sue Ellen Michigan at 5-2. Legendary Gift is 3-1 there. I kind of landed on 2 outside horses. I landed on the 3 Weekend Fund here. This horse, if you kind of go back to the start of this horse's career, which I know I'm going back 2 years. They've been running this horse on turf, but if you go back when he was with Steve Asmussen, they were running this on dirt and has some nice races. It does have a turf win also at Remington, but a dirt horse can win at Remington because there is no turf pedigree. What's up?
Let's not lie here. You just picked the Corrals horse.
It's a Corrals horse. Yeah, it's a
That's
Corrals
what it
horse.
is.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Cool.
Corrals
We
horse.
go to the next race.
But-
Okay, cool. Okay.
But like,
It's
here's
like
the
Mark
thing,
with
right?
Morley. You
I
just gotta
had to
earn it.
look. I had to like, also kind of figure. I'm like, all right, I like this horse, but no, I seriously, I did think that this horse had some nice races running on the dirt back there. And then the other horse I used is I am going to use this one Ball Lightning here with Louis Size and Jeremiah Englehart. I was looking for, once again, I'm looking for another off the pace horse. Like I said, maybe I'm just like jumping the gun with the way the track played yesterday, but Keeneland tends to have one of the fairest dirt tracks I think out there. So when it's fair, I mean it gets biased just like anything else. But I like the one Ball Lightning here, kind of coming off the pace. I not necessarily that I see a lot of speed, but it just looked like it was kind of a lone P type horse. So I thought I would take a shot here. I mean, obviously the 5 looks really good, but I'm gonna try and get around. So, Caleb, where do you land here?
Yeah, so I'm a little different than you here in that I ended up singling the 5. This is a race that's a little bit ugly. I could see almost any horse winning this race, honestly. Like I didn't really have anyone scratched out except for actually your one, who I think looks a little bit out of form. But yeah, I ended up singling the 5 because I think this horse has some ugly form lines in there, to be sure. But if you draw a line through the turf race, clearly not a turf horse, and you draw a line through the off-track efforts over a sloppy sealed surface and then a good surface, both races that she's had over a fast track have been just absolute fireballs. I'm kind of hoping that that's the key here and that, this horse just doesn't handle any type of an off track and just truly does want a, fast surface in here because both of her efforts were extremely good over a fast surface. And it's not just like a finger legs kind of garbage race because she ran huge in it at Saratoga, actually thought highly enough of her to throw her in the spin away. And Echo Zulu obviously romped that day, but, she didn't run, well, but that's not where she belongs. I think getting back in for a tag here is a much more realistic spot. Jorge Abreu is excellent first time claiming. Out of 30 starters, he wins at 40%. So I think this, he tends to place his horses quite realistically when he drops them in for a tag. I think this horse is controlling speed, just takes off and doesn't stop.
Mark, where did you land?
Actually, my top choice is a horse that you've already mentioned, Josh, and that is the one horse, Ball Lightning. Logic there is a couple of fold here, but I thought it was really interesting. Jeremiah Englehart doesn't ship to Kentucky very often. He's predominantly he does have some horses down at Gulfstream, but he ships sort of to between Gulfstream and the Naira circuit, or does a lot of Finger Lakes and Parks and those kind of things as well. Thought it really interesting. He shipped this one into Kentucky, and this is a horse that broke her maiden on dirt on a horse that was taken off at Gulfstream Park West, the old Calder, and was taken off the turf there, and then ended up going into a race at Tampa on the turf. And then they suddenly decided that this was a turf horse. Don't quite know why they decided this one was a turf horse. And kind of kept her on turf most of her career. So I thought it was really interesting that Jeremiah claims this horse, ships to Kentucky. And I realize he hasn't had a lot of success with Sayers up lately, but historically, if you go back 2 or 3 years, Sayers was the go-to rider for Jeremiah when he had a really live one. So, I think Caleb made a comment about this race being sort of a real wide open affair. He could see anybody winning. I thought the 5 and the 6 were the 2 most likely horses on paper, but I wanted to go to an outside price that I thought had a lot of upside.
All right, we got 5 minutes, so I figure we can kind of rapid fire these next 2. Leg 4 here, race 4. I landed on 2 horses. I landed on the 1 and the 3 here. Caleb, I think you landed on the same
Yeah,
horses.
I'm on the exact same too, Josh.
Yeah, and I landed on the 1 and the 3, mostly because the 5 and the 6, the 2 short price horses, are just completely going backwards. And I'm not going to take a short price on either of them. I mean, they look good on paper if you go back some races, but if you look at their more recent races, I think the 3 probably looks the best out of them, and I think that the 1 is coming in off a win as well. First off the claim for Juan Cano, and that's a plus move for him. And yeah, I wasn't going to overthink it. Caleb, I'm guessing you're on it for the same those 2 horses for the same exact
same
reason.
reasons. I wanted to be against the 2 short prices, and those seem to be the most logical of the next ones.
And
Mark?
Shockingly, all 3 of us agree. I'm on the 1 and the 3, and I'm against the 2 short prices. So
We're dead.
congrats on whoever the favorite is on this race on winning.
Tear it up. I think leg 4 or leg 5 we talked about a little bit. Yeah, and look at Charles. He likes the 1 here. Race 4 is a single. We were kind of all over the place in this race. I'm going to end up using the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 9. Mr. Wireless. I talked myself into Mr. Wireless. I looked at time form. His dirt races look really freaking good, and his dirt race figures put him right there. I know this is his first time on the turf, but I mean, if I'm getting 20 to 1, it's not like this. There's some, if you squint, there's some turf pedigree there. Not great turf pedigree, but like there's a little bit. So I don't know. I was going to take a shot with the outsider here at 20 to 1. But Caleb, where did you kind of land here?
Yeah, so I was actually I had the 3 in common with you, but otherwise not so much. I had the 1, 3, 4, and 8. My kind of thinking is here that we talked about it on stream. In Love is probably the best horse in the race if he gets back to his last year form. Hasn't quite showed that yet, but the Paulo Lobo barn has been extremely hot so far to start this Keeneland meet. And this is the softest race he's been in probably 2 or 3 years. So I'm giving In Love a pass here, maybe one last time to try to get the job done over a track that he's proven to like. The number 3, Kentucky Ghost, probably needs some help in front of him, but if this race totally melts, which I think it could, this horse always does put in a nice effort. Coming out of Kentucky Downs, I think this horse makes some sense. Getting back into a more realistic spot after just not being competitive against Grade 1 company at Monmouth and then at Kentucky Downs in a pretty salty race there. And then I used both of the speeds. I don't know who clears between the 1 and the 8, so I decided to just throw them both because whoever does get the lead is the one that I want. So they both can win on their day. So I used 1, 3, 4, and 8.
Yeah, and my top choice in here is the 7, the other Lobo horse, Grays Creek. I know I mentioned on the stream on Thursday that I was shocked this horse wasn't getting Lasix, and there was a medication change that was noted in the changes today, and that horse is getting Lasix. So if you take that horse and you look at just the Lasix races, form drastically improves, I trust Corrales to work out a trip. Not the fastest horse in the race on paper, but a horse that I'm getting 15 to 1 on, who I think has a lot of upside and has I think on Lasix is a much different horse.
Cool. So I got my ticket in. This is once again a pretty kind of fat ticket, but I thought you kind of had to go at least 3 wide in a couple of these races. So 2-5-7, 2-5-13, 1-3, 1-3, 3-5-7, 9. Caleb, we were kind of similar. We're 5-7, and then you took like every single horse in that second leg. Single to 5, 1-3, 1-3, 4-8. Unfortunately, we cannot both hit. And Mark, I don't know if you got a ticket, if you got like your A's, if you just want to read them out, or you're just shaking your head.
Yeah, I mean, I can. The problem is I have my top choices who really aren't my A's because I'm trying to spot pick some prices. I'm more tournament structured for this, so I don't really have a ticket.
Yep. And they're loading into the gate here. Sheldon is saying IRAD, Chad plus Lasix, so that's a 2 horse here who's going to be getting Lasix for the first time. I mean, the 2 might just absolutely boom us all, but. I don't know. That last race was pretty bad, so I'm
that race is terrible.
Yeah. So I'm just hoping that maybe he'll improve off that last race, but I mean has to basically run back to that Canadian turf in order to kind of fit in here. But they're off here. And
looks like 7 bobbled the break a little bit, but is going to be sent up to sit just off.
And so, Mark, you said you're mostly going to be tournament focused today, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to play a couple of feeders into the BCBC qualifiers for tomorrow. Trying to get into one of the whatever the $500 base ones. So the 1 in 20s versus the 1 in 76s or whatever they are.
I looked at that, but the track selection tomorrow on the featured is 4 Woodbine races.
Yeah, I did see that, but
yucky.
I do know a Woodbine expert, so I will twist his arm and have him make some picks for me.
You're going to be using a beard.
I am going to 100% be using a beard and be completely okay with it.
He's bringing a ringer.
I'm bringing a ringer.
Well, looks like the 4 might be about done, but any one of the 5, 6, or 7 all look like they have some run. The 6 looks like he has quite a bit of
6
run.
is looking real good on the outside.
At start, we'll see how much that took out of the 7 because he did sort of blow the break a little bit. Looks like 6 is going to go right by, but the 5 might run him down both.
5 is rolling.
Oh, 6 keeps finding though.
Yeah.
Yep, 6 is going to do it.
6 is going to boom us like 1.
Yep. Keeneland is so fucking hard.
Morales gets his first win on the meet.
I mean, I looked at the 6, but you look at him and you're like, how does he turn the tables on the 5 today? And that was kind of my question. With 12 second places and 6 third place finishes and only 5 wins. I mean, that's a hard horse for me to really.
A horse that really felt like he had, had a case of the hangs or just did hated getting his photo taken, whatever you want to say. So, yep.
Well, that's Keeneland for you. But yeah, I think Mark and I actually have to get going here. So we're gonna end up a little early. Yeah, Charles had that. Charles had the 6. Boom on the 6. Congrats, Charles. Steven says let him know if you need GP capped. He's got that. He's got that on handle. But yeah, we got kind of a hard stop. I think everyone's kind of got some stuff going on today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Catch us on Thursday, obviously, for our live stream. Monday night or Tuesday afternoon, depending on when we get it recorded. We're gonna try and record Monday night a second episode of Drank Champagne. So we'll be talking. I think the topic this time is going to be fan education. There was a tweet that kind of came out. I think Charles Simon had tweeted something out about fan education. So Andrew has done seminars at the California Fair Circuit. So he's got a little bit of insight on that. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and I think it fits in well with kind of what we're trying to do here a little bit. So we'll have that up. I know we're recording Monday. If I have time to edit and everything, we'll get it posted Monday. But if not, Tuesday. So and then we got our usual live streams, and Mark's heading out. So we'll catch you guys later. Oh, where's the button? There it is.